Aius Cyppiteon action figure review. DorkLair! The first of two gray aliens in the Comsic Legions line. This one is called Aius Cyppiteon, and it is from the second wave called Hvalkatar Book 2. And even though this Greyborn is compatible with 2.0 Legions, it is full 8 inches tall. Here it is next to a couple other Comsic Legions figures. On the left is the Thaigar Hvalkatar version with the Von Box DorkLair head sculpt, and on the right is the engineer with some Zarya parts, but this gives you a very good sense of how tall this guy really is. Next up, we have some Mythic Legions 1.0 bodies. On the left is a Xylernian guard with a Von Berk head sculpt, and then on the right is a Clawful custom that was a gift from Corey S. from Steam Powered Mom, who just killed it with this custom, and it even has a more classic looking Clawful head and claw as well. I have it set up in its sort of like Legions only parts right now, but this thing is incredible. Thank you again, Corey. Just absolutely knocked it out of the park in such a generous gift. Thank you so much. Next, a couple wave mates. On the left is the Sligor Gravekeeper figure, and on the right is Canox Vol, who even at brute scale is still shorter than Aius Cyppiteon. Next up, we've got a couple figures that are like up in that 7-inch range. On the left is the Quicksilver figure from Ramen Toy, and on the right is the 3-0 Infinity Saga Iron Man Mark 7. And then some shorter figures, sort of the true 6-inch on the left Black Series, on the right Classified. Zooming in here for a close-up of Aius Cyppiteon's Greyborn head sculpt. Looks really good, just kind of pulls on those classic sci-fi looks of the gray alien kind of thing. He's got these crazy scars across his face here. He is an arena fighter in the Grave Ring, so yeah, nice glossy eyes right there. He's got this very serious frown. The Greyborn are sort of like this alien race that runs this essentially like this neural network, this communication network across Cosmerium. So very cool kind of story there with these guys. But two other things to note about the head. I love the flesh. I love how the skin looks. It's just got like an aged kind of look to it that looks really good. But the only issue I do have is, like a lot of these cosmic figures, it does have a seam line across that head there. You know, when you're looking at it at the front, you don't notice it, but it's definitely quite apparent right there. And he does have this necklace, which, as you can see, it's kind of like twisted and riding up a little bit. There we go. So yeah, that can kind of happen, but it does have the key. So we actually have a life-size version of this key that they released along with the first wave as just like a token, just like a almost like a collectible coin type thing. But so that's making its appearance in the action figure form there. Nothing to write home about with the string here. It kind of gets twisted and it gets caught up in the neck. So something a little heavier might have been nice, but I don't really know how they would do that. Again, the skin looks very aged, weathered and old, and it's got like a certain realism to it that a lot of action figures don't end up having. It's got a shoulder strap here. It's kind of like the traditional Mythic Legion straps, but cosmic details, and then it's got some weapon storage there. Got that cool pauldron. The original photos showed it coming with just the one-sided pauldron, but it does come with the other side. One arm does have some armor bracer type thing over on this side, and the other arm is bare, so you've got a little asymmetry going on there. Same thing with the belt and the skirt, kind of one-sided, right? And I think this belt looks incredible, leathery, almost tribal, right? And then you've got like the skirt that comes on the one side, and then the loincloth also has almost an organic kind of a feel to it. And then you've got his boots, those do match. And then his feet over here, I guess technically not boots, but lower leg armor. He's got that splayed toe over here, 4-toed alien, and then the bottom of the feet. For accessories, he does come with this staff that has a spherical ball on top, and this matches the staff that came with Thaigar, and these guys have some sort of relationship, I believe, mentor kind of thing going on, but it seems as though this staff gets passed on to Thaigar or vice versa. Next up, we got the shield. This is sort of the standard Tusk shield, but it looks to be spray painted with the Grave Ring logo. and that's got a handle on the back. And like I said before, he does come with the other shoulder armor right here. And he does come with those little pegs that a lot of the figures come with that you can use to port things into these holes on the figure's armor and stuff, but he doesn't really come with anything that you could put on there. And before we talk about the hands, this just reminded me of a couple issues that this figure has. One is an issue with the hands, and the other is right out of the box an issue with the torso articulation. So these things have been coming locked up, and they've been including a little note saying you should heat your figure, pop it apart, and then reassemble it at the top. You can check out Four Horsemen Studios YouTube channel to watch a video of Jeremy Gerard doing that. I highly recommend it when you first get this figure in hand. I did the exact same thing, the boil and pot method, and it works just fine now. And the other issue that they haven't really addressed, but I've seen a number of people have it, and I'm going to try to replicate it here and see if I can kind of show you what's happening. But essentially, when you pull this hand off, what's happening is people are yanking this hand and it's coming apart. Well, that popped off actually normally, but people are pulling the hand apart, and this thing right here, the disc, is coming out. And so there's a peg on one side that's in that disc. And what you're going to have to do, if you pull the hand out and the peg's left in there, but the hand comes off the disc, then you need to really heat that hand up and then bend this peg back, this peg right here, back into the disc, and then maybe like use some cold temperature to solidify it again in that position. And when you pull it out, what you want to do is you want to grab the side. So don't just grab the hand up here, but really try to get the sides of it like this right here and pull it out like that. And then that way, you're kind of supporting it as you pull it out, because these very small pieces, this is something I've never experienced before with Legions. So definitely something to be on the lookout for if you have that issue. It doesn't break, but it's just something that needs to be put back together. And speaking of hands, it does come with a pair of horizontally hinged gripping hands. It has a pair of vertically hinged gripping hands, a pair of vertically hinged trigger finger hands, and a pair of relaxed hands with horizontal hinges. Okay, for articulation, the head is on a ball joint, and it can look down decent amount, and it can look up a little bit, and it can cock side to side. A little bit loose there, but that's not a big deal to me. It's not like flopping around or anything. And then you have a hinge at the shoulder that can come out to just about 180 degrees. And then you can swing that arm all the way around. There's a single jointed elbow, and I was hoping the range would be a little bit better than this because we had the very similar arms on Red Death, but just not quite there. Still just a bit past 90 degrees. Hands have a hinge and swivel, and there's a lot of good range there. There's nothing getting in the way. This hand on the other side can be a little bit limited by the arm guard there, but yeah, nice range in the hands. There's a ton of great movement in that torso. It can get gappy, but you just have to kind of watch out for that and then close the gap. But he can go way back and then way forward, and he can go side to side as well. So really great range in that torso. Just a swivel at the waist, this being a 2.0 build, the smaller elves and so on. This is compatible with those, so it just has the twist at the waist. Leg can kick forward a good amount. It can kick back a bit there. There's a twist at the top of the leg, but it gets kind of stopped because there's not a lot of clearance up top there. So you can't twist it all the way around, but it's functional for sure. And you've got a hinge at the knee and a twist below the knee. And then you have a hinge at the ankle and a twist and a rocker at the ankle. Now, I don't have time for extensive swaps, but I wanted to show a couple things. One is how nice this looks on an elf body. This is the belt from Aius. And this was just the first elf I had laying around. It's the Father Christmas, the retailer Father Christmas figure. And you can see it fits really well and it looks good. This doesn't even have a head on it right now. It's just the body I had laying around. But for fit, looks awesome. And then the other one I wanted to show was this head on the Sligor body, which I think looks really cool. The colors work out nicely. You do have to use the conversion neck. So I have the neck from the Valiant Knight on there that converts a 1.0 figure to a 2.0 peg. And so that's how that works there. So if you don't have a Valiant Knight, you might have to rig something up yourself until you get one. But if you wanted to do that, I think that's a really cool look. And so aside from a few little durability issues, I think this figure is fantastic. I love the body. I mean, it's an all new body. Even though it's compatible with the 2.0 stuff, it is pretty much top to bottom. Everything is brand new and it's nice and it moves well. You know, again, couple durability issues, a couple stuck joints, but beyond that, like the body does feel great in hand. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and until next time, may the force be with you.